Couple of things. Talking to famed profiler, FBI profiler Jim Clemente. First of all, he has a really detailed analysis of... Hey guys, so I'm in Arizona. I'm actually right in the back of Nancy Guthrie's house, which I'll show you in a second. But first of all, I wanted to tell you that let me show you guys. I was able to get right back here to the back of the house. It's really the closest I've ever been able to get, but this is Nancy's pool right here. Right back there is the like the patio area, and there's two doors underneath that patio area. The blood spatter that was outside Nancy Guthrie's house. An analysis in a way that I haven't seen before, which I think are patterns, because I know you went back and analyzed the video that we were able to take up on the front porch area of Nancy's house. What?
There is blood outside Nancy Guthrie's front door, not inside, not scattered through a hallway. Outside, on the threshold where a normal day ends and something terrible begins. You are looking at a crime scene that has already started talking. Most people walk past evidence like this and see chaos. Retired FBI profiler Jim Clemente walks past it and hears a story. Today, we are going to hear that story together. By the end of this video, Jim Clemente is going to tell you exactly what that blood pattern means. And he is going to tell you something even more disturbing about the person who left it there. We are also going to walk through the ransom notes in this case, what they say, what they reveal, and why Jim Clemente believes they point to one specific type of person. Stay with us. Both of those answers are coming. First, Nancy Guthrie. She was not a headline before this happened. She was a person, a real woman with a real front door, a real life on the other side of it, and no reason to believe that door would ever become evidence. Then one day, it did. When investigators arrived at her home, they found something immediately wrong. The blood was outside, on the exterior, before you even crossed the threshold into her world. Think about what that means. Whatever happened, part of it happened in the open, in a space where anyone could have seen it. Jim Clemente noticed that immediately. The location of the blood spatter outside the door tells us something critical about the sequence of events. It tells us where this started. If you are new here, this is from Brian Enton Investigates. We follow the evidence wherever it leads. Subscribe now so you never miss a case. That word, started, is doing a lot of work, because if the blood outside the door is where this started, then the question every investigator needs to answer is simple and devastating. Where did it end? Before Jim Clemente could answer that question, investigators had to build the full picture, and what they documented, piece by piece, went far beyond a single door. Here is your first promised answer. The blood spatter outside Nancy Guthrie's door is not random. It is not the result of pure chaos. According to Jim Clemente, it has direction, pattern, and sequence. And each of those three things tells investigators something different. Direction tells you where a person was moving. Pattern tells you the nature of the force involved. Sequence tells you what happened first. When you read all three together, you stop seeing a crime scene. You start seeing a timeline. Clemente looked at the exterior spatter and saw something that immediately reframed the case. The blood suggests movement. It suggests a struggle that began, or ended, in a transitional space. This wasn't random violence that happened to land outside. The location and the pattern suggest intent. Someone was in control of this situation, or trying to be. That word, control, changes everything, because a controlled scene looks very different from a spontaneous one. A controlled scene has been thought about, planned, possibly rehearsed. Now pair that with what investigators also found, the ransom notes. There was not one note. Investigators found multiple communications in this case, each one deliberate, each one written to direct attention in a specific direction. Read the blood, then read the notes. You get two different stories trying to tell you the same thing, but they are not quite matching up. The blood says something happened in the open. The notes say this was a planned abduction for financial gain. Those two realities sit in direct tension with each other. When the physical evidence and the written communication don't align, that misalignment itself becomes evidence. It tells you something about the person who created both. A person who created both. Not a group, not a network. One person who stood at that door, left that blood, then sat somewhere and wrote those notes. Jim Clemente is already building a picture of exactly who that person is, and the profile he has constructed is more detailed and more disturbing than you might expect. The blood and the notes don't speak the same language. That gap, that contradiction, is exactly where Jim Clemente begins to build his profile. Here is your second promised answer. Jim Clemente believes the person responsible for what happened to Nancy Guthrie acted alone, not as part of a group, not with a partner. One person operating solo from beginning to end. That conclusion did not come from instinct. It came from the evidence. Clemente identifies 5 specific reasons the evidence points to a single actor. 1. The blood spatter shows no indication of multiple people managing a scene simultaneously. A coordinated team leaves different physical evidence than a single individual. 2. The ransom notes carry a consistent voice. One psychological fingerprint across every communication. Multiple authors contaminate that consistency. 3. The staging of the exterior scene reflects one decision-maker. A group negotiates actions. One person executes them cleanly, or tries to. 4. The timeline of events shows no gaps that would require coordination between multiple parties. Every window fits one person moving with purpose. 5. The nature of the communication itself. The notes reveal a person who needed to feel completely in control of the narrative. That psychological need is almost always an individual trait, not a group dynamic. Now, you are not just looking at blood on a doorstep. You are looking at the behavioral signature of one specific human being. Clemente goes further. He profiles the type of person who constructs a scene like this. Someone with above-average planning capacity. Someone who has imagined this situation before acting on it. Someone who believes they are more intelligent than the investigators looking for them. This is not an impulsive crime. The person who did this has a story they are telling themselves about why they are justified, and they believe their own story completely. They believe their own story. That detail should stay with you, because it tells you something critical about how this person is behaving right now, today. While this case is still open, Jim Clemente believes this person worked alone and believes they are justified. Drop your theory in the comments. Do you agree with his profile? But a profile is only as powerful as what investigators do with it. And what is happening on the ground right now is where this case gets even more unsettling. Clemente has a profile. He has a read on the blood. He has a read on the notes. Now the question is whether any of that matches what investigators are actually seeing on the ground. Right now. The profile exists. The evidence has been documented. The ransom notes have been analyzed. Now we come to the question that keeps investigators awake at night. What is this person doing right now? Jim Clemente has a specific answer to that question, and it is not comforting. This individual almost certainly believes they have successfully managed the situation. They are not panicking. They are watching. They are waiting to see how investigators respond, and they are adjusting. Read that carefully. This person is not hiding in fear. They are observing. They are engaged with the investigation from a distance and measuring the response against what they planned. That behavioral pattern, watching and adjusting, is one of the most dangerous profiles in criminal psychology. It means the person has not detached from the crime. They are still inside it emotionally, still invested in the outcome. It also means they are vulnerable. People who stay engaged with their own crimes eventually reveal themselves. They cannot resist. The need for control that drove the crime also drives them back toward it. The latest developments in this case reflect exactly that tension. Investigators are tracking specific behavioral patterns in the communications received so far. The ransom notes are being analyzed not just for content, but for timing, delivery method, and psychological escalation between messages. Each note tells investigators something new, not just about what this person wants, but about how they think, how they handle pressure, whether the plan is holding together or starting to fracture. And here's the detail that should stay with you. The fracture points in cases like this rarely come from investigators closing in. They come from the suspect making a move they cannot take back. We are going to keep following every development in this case. Hit subscribe right now, so you are here when the next piece breaks. Clemente says this person thinks they got away with it, and that they are still watching. Do you think an arrest is coming? Tell us below. The evidence has been read. The profile has been built. But there is one thing no amount of blood spatter analysis or note examination can yet answer. The profile is built. The evidence has been read. But there is one thing Jim Clemente and every investigator on this case cannot yet answer. Here is what we know. The blood outside Nancy Guthrie's front door was not random. It has direction. It has pattern. It has sequence. And according to Jim Clemente, it points toward one person, acting alone, who planned this, executed it, and believes they are still in control of what happens next. Here is what we do not know. We do not know where this ends. The evidence tells us how this scene was constructed. The profile tells us who likely constructed it. The ransom notes tell us what this person wanted the world to believe. But none of that tells us the one thing that matters most right now. It does not tell us what happens to Nancy Guthrie. That is the open wound at the center of this case. Every piece of evidence, every behavioral profile, every analyzed note, all of it exists in service of one question that is still unanswered. Before she was a case, before she was a headline, before her front door became evidence, she was a person. She had a life that existed entirely on the other side of that door. That life deserves an answer. Jim Clemente's final word on this case is not about blood or notes or behavioral profiles. It is about accountability. Cases like this do not stay cold forever. The person responsible for this is carrying something they cannot put down. And eventually, that weight shows. Eventually, that weight shows. We are going to keep watching this case. Every development, every update, every time the evidence speaks, we are going to be here to report it. One question before you go. If you were Jim Clemente, what would your next move be? Leave it in the comments. This is from Brian Enton Investigates. If this case matters to you, subscribe, share this video, and stay close. Nancy Guthrie's story is not finished. Neither are we.